Welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall, powered by the Difference Media LLC, and hosted by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader, and also sponsored by Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall, Josh and Kristen Small with WeatherTech General Contractors, Brian Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting, Clarence Jorf with the Compound of Ada, Kim Johnson with Kim Johnson Group, and by Scott Dodson with Compression Works. The Community Difference Rockwall was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals. So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts, and insights about being a professional, along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Rockwall starts now.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Community Difference Rockwall. We are a podcast firmly rooted at the intersection of business development and community involvement. I am your host, Tammy Escobedo. I am a proud business coach and beauty industry leader with a passion to help others look and feel their best. I am truly honored to have the opportunity to empower women to create sustainable work from home businesses while also helping them cultivate a lifestyle rooted in confidence and self-assurance. Today, we have an exciting show lined up for you as we continue our topic for November, behavioral branding, building brands through actions and culture, a theme that we are really going to dive into during our third segment. But first, as always, we do want to introduce our amazing co-hosts and our incredible guests. So I will just give you a little secret. This is our first show in our week 2 of the month with brand new co-hosts that I am so excited to introduce to you today. So our first co-host that I want to introduce is Scott Dodson. Scott is the president and CEO of Compression Works, a leading company in the development of hemorrhage control devices that serve our military and first responder communities. With over 30 years of leadership experience in the medical device industry, from Fortune 500 companies like Boston Scientific to successful startups, Scott has a proven track record of building high-performing teams and taking companies to new heights, even leading one to a successful IPO. In addition to his business acumen, Scott is deeply committed to public service as a councilman for the city of Heath, vice president of the Rockwall County Republican Men's Club, and has served as a board member and treasurer of Lone Star Casa. He and his wife, Lene, are active members at Lake Point Church and proud parents of 6 adult children and a brand new grandchild. So welcome, Scott.
Thanks, Tammy, very much.
I'm excited to have you. Why are you excited to be here?
Thank you.
I'm excited. Why are you excited to be here today? It's your first show.
Yeah, yay. First show. So, listen, I think Rockwall is just a terrific community. We're right here on the banks of Ray Hubbard. We've got a lot of terrific things going on in the community, both from an involvement and a organizational standpoint. There's really kind of something for everybody here, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it and get a chance to leverage my experience with this great platform.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Scott. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Our second co-host that I'm really excited to announce and to introduce you to today is Kim Johnson. Kim is joining us today as the brand new co-host and is an exceptional powerhouse in the real estate world and one of the top 500 agents for RE/MAX in North Texas. Kim has achieved numerous accolades, including being named a top individual producer for the Vanguard Council, a 2023 Chairman Club Award winner, and a member of the 2023 Hall of Fame. Recognized in the top 25% and top 15% of agents nationally in recent years, she has also graced the cover of Top Agent magazine. Kim is a dedicated community leader who actively supports local business owners and is highly involved in our Chamber of Commerce. Her commitment to uplifting others and fostering community growth has made her a valued advocate and an inspiration to many in our area, making her an invaluable presence on our show today. So, Kim, welcome. I'm excited to have you. Why are you so excited to be here today?
I'm just tickled to death to be here and just to bring value to this community and to this platform.
You are amazing. I'm so excited that you're here. Your first show, you and Scott, congratulations. And you have amazing guests today. I am very excited to get to introduce to you our first guest, who is Dennis Udick. Dennis is a true professional in the painting industry with 6 years of experience and a portfolio of hundreds of projects from other states. Dennis brought his expertise to Texas and founded Roll City Painting right out of Rockwall. Roll City has quickly become the fastest growing painting business in the Dallas Metroplex, earning more 5-star reviews than most of its competitors. Please join me in welcoming Dennis, whose dedication to quality has truly set his business apart. So Dennis, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Why are you excited to be here today?
I just love the Rockwall community. It's really just amazing timing as I've been thinking about just how I can be impactful here in this community. So I love what you guys are doing, and so I'm excited to see where this goes.
Well, Kim speaks highly of you, and I am grateful to get to know you and can't wait to meet you so soon.
Likewise.
All right. Our guest number 2, I'm very excited to introduce for you today, Jeremiah McClure, the dedicated mayor of Heath, Texas. Beyond his leadership in our community, Jeremiah is also a successful business owner, bringing a unique perspective to his role as mayor. As a committed family man, he balances his professional responsibilities with a deep devotion to his family, exemplifying the values that make our community strong. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Jeremiah McClure. Welcome.
Well, hello, Tammy.
I'm
Good to
so
see
excited.
everybody on here.
Thank you for being here. What are you most excited about today?
Well, first, getting an opportunity to be on this podcast and be part of a community difference is exciting. I kind of consider what I've been doing lately as a road show about Heath, talking about all the different things that are going on, the exciting things, things that we're working on and changing. And so just being able to be here and share some of that. But you've melted it into business. And so that's my daily life. I'm just excited to kind of talk about it, and we'll see where this conversation goes.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're glad that you're here. We are going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and learn all about what's going on in our community and why we love it so much. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Rockwall is made possible by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader, Josh and Kristen Small with WeatherTech General Contractors, Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall, Brian Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting, Clarence Jorev with The Compound Nevada, Kim Johnson with Kim Johnson Group, and by Scott Dodson with Compression Works. The Community Difference Rockwall. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
What's up, Rockwall?
What's up, Rockwall? I'm excited to hear from everybody. We have so many great, wonderful things happening in our community. And first, where do we want to start? I think we should start with Kim and Dennis. What do you think?
I think baptism by fire might as well happen now.
Let's go. What you got going on in Rockwall? What do you know is happening first?
Well, for me right now, an important project that I'm working on is I've been invited to many different events for Amica of Rockwall. They're a 501c nonprofit, and annually they shop for Christmas for kids for the Rainbow Room. And sometimes the kids in the Rainbow Room, they leave with only the clothes on their back as they're victims of domestic violence and other things and etc. So I've had the opportunity to visit with several meetings and do the fall festival with Amica. And they try to give Christmas to over 100 children. And right now, that's been a pulse point for this month. And that's been an important thing that I've been working on, as well as many other nonprofit projects that have a wonderful impact on the community.
Awesome. So I know from talking to you earlier, you were telling me that you and Dennis have a big plan coming up where we can get pictures with Santa. Tell us about that. Maybe.
Absolutely. So on December the December the 22nd from 10 to 3, we were notified that the animal shelter in Rockwall is low on puppy food. And so we had this great idea to partner with SWAT. SWAT's going to put on a program. They have they have about 17,000 visitors per week. And SWAT is right off of Goliad in Rockwall. And we're going to be doing free pictures with Santa for babies and kids and adults alike. We're going to be giving out gifts and various things. And if people would like to bring food or anything for pets, we're going to take it up and we're going to drop it off at the animal shelter in Rockwall.
Awesome. So you are saying that we can just bring our kids, they're going to get a toy, and it's free. That's amazing.
Not asking for anything. We just want to give back and we want to help the local animal shelter. They did reach out and say they're very low on puppy food. And so everybody who can't love a fur baby? No matter what. So
awesome.
Children alike, and it's Christmas. So no matter what religion you are, everybody wants to give and love. So we might as well do it.
Might as well do it. I'm excited to get to come to that. I may bring my grandbabies for Santa pictures.
Well,
you should.
Everyone
should.
We have a cool gift we're giving out.
Okay, well that's exciting. All right, well that's good. Anything else? I think we were talking about our Business Development Alliance, which is one of our most favorite events. Lyndon Wilson, who is the producer of our show, and he is the mastermind behind the Community Difference, has started, and he wrote a book. So you need to get his book. That's amazing. But we started our Business Development Alliance, which is a networking event where we get to know each other and support people in our community. So tell us about that, Kim. It's coming up. What's the date and the time, and who should come?
Well, you can expect this every single month. It's going to be the last Monday of every single month. And we made it a no excuses barred. So what you can do is you come ready. If you're an entrepreneur or you're just an employee with a company and you want to learn how to be better at what you do, whatever your position is, and you come and join us. We're going to have a special guest speaker, and it's going to be at Shenanigans in Rockwall in the back room where the bowling alley is. So the first 30 minutes is going to be where we're doing a little bit of a business learning moment, for lack of better words, and with our guest speaker. And right after that, we'll have a mix and mingle happy hour, and we'll try to change it up. And it'll be from 4:30 to 6:30 last Monday of every month at Shenanigans in the back room. And if you say that you can't come because you have your kids, they have a place to go play. If your husband says he's hungry, tell him to go grab some chicken nuggets at the snack bar.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a fun night. I'm excited about that. So thank you for all that information. Let's go to Scott, because I know Scott has some really exciting information to share with us today about what's going on in Rockwall.
Thanks, Tammy, very much. So in Heath, we have, and all over the Rockwall community, there's a Battle of the Badges for the Toys for Tots program. And this is going on through December the 5th. And all toys unwrapped are welcome. Please bring them to City Hall at 200 Lawrence Drive in Heath. If you're a Heath resident, if you're a resident of another city in Rockwall County, I'm sure you can bring it to their respective city halls as well. We also have a Heath Holiday Market coming up on November the 23rd at the Hidden Creek Event Center from 4 until 9 p.m. We haven't stolen Kim's Santa, but we will have a Santa there for pictures, and we'll be handing out candy and just a great holiday market and a festive environment. We plan to have this event next year at our newly renovated Town Center Park, which we hope to open by December 2025, as that's been a great annual site for us as well. Finally, I'd like to announce a program going on from Rockwall Acting Company, Frozen. They're doing this from December the 5th till December the 8th. There are 6 shows, and it's at Water Tower Theater in Addison. And info for this can be found at rockwallacting.com. So lots of great activities here during the holiday season, and hope to have you all in Heath, and would love to have everybody visit.
That's awesome, Scott. I'm going to go see those shows. That's going to be fun. I love musicals and things like that. That'll be so great.
Yep, they do a terrific job.
So tell us what's going on with the city of Heath and fun things that we learned. I know our mayor has some fun things to share with us about what's going on, especially with our water. So Scott, I'm going to let you take that over.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. That's there's no shortage of activities or opinions with regards to water and what have you. But, you know, from an overall arching perspective, Jeremiah, what have you been working on with the other mayors of Rockwall County with regards of getting together and defining and finding ways to work together to make this an even better community?
Yeah, great question, Scott. Thank you for that. And I'll tell you, you know, that's been a major initiative, is collaborating with the mayors and really trying to find that group together with the county judge, a great leadership from Frank New, and talking through infrastructure at a macro level, and then talking about things that are going to be happening at the legislative sessions at the state, and ways in which we want to communicate what our local needs are. And so we're seeing a real new renewed collaboration with all of the mayors and staying on some sequencing as Rockwall County too is working on their 2050 Unity Plan, which is their macro comprehensive plan. Infrastructure is kind of part of that dialogue, as well as collaboration with the mayors. And then as far as we kind of transition into water, you know, Heath is in a really exciting time. In fact, many people that are listening will know this is one of my biggest passions on why I wanted to run. Living in Heath for almost 10 years, and just kind of seeing that, hey, we're missing some of these elements of protecting our city. And so our town center park that's coming, that you just talked about, is going to get our first water well. And so that's coming out of engineering. We're at 90% engineered, and they'll be drilling that well this next year, and that will be coming online. This is a well that goes 3,000 feet, and so we'll be getting into a very healthy aquifer, and really trying to bring in anywhere from 750,000 to 1 million gallons a day from one water well. And that's just step one to a series of other steps as we look for sustainable approaches into the future.
So, you know, as you think about sort of the supply issue, right? Because you know, everyone in Heath certainly likes to water their lawns, and everyone is concerned about growth. And we'll get to growth here in, you know, maybe just a minute. But, you know, what are some of the other elements of sort of the, you know, overall water plan that the citizens should be aware of? Because obviously, you know, this water issue isn't just a Heath issue. It's really kind of a North Texas issue. So I think everybody's kind of facing this right now. So, you know, what have you and staff and sort of subject matter experts worked on and thought about with regards to the different elements of that plan?
Yeah, no. So obviously there is a water concern in Texas and in North Texas, and a number of people are working to solve this problem. And I know that currently we have a relationship with Rockwall, and we receive water from Rockwall, and they receive from North Texas Municipal Water District as a member city. And so we're working in collaboration with Rockwall on some of those solutions as we move forward for planning. But we're also on a separate highway as well, going to a sustainable model independently is just as important as building those relationships and looking for that relationship with North Texas Municipal Water District and Rockwall. And so one of the newer things that we're going to be working on, and in fact, it came out last night in our city council meeting, is we're looking for a bridge plan and bringing online anywhere from 5 to 6 new water wells into our city, and obviously making it potable and cleansing it, and then circulating it into our storage tanks. But in addition to that, we're also bringing on more storage because that's a responsible way to continue to create that sustainable model, but also to make sure that we have some level of independence. And then I'll make note of this. We do love to water our lawns. We have beautiful, large. We're a low density city. And so we do love one home on 1 acre or one home on every 3 acres, or even our ag. And so we want to water it. We want to make sure it looks beautiful. And so one of the things, though, is that in our lowest times of use, we typically use less than 2 million gallons a day. But during the summer, we know how to peak. We do really well. We peak over 6 million. And so we're going to be bringing on some of these solutions that's going to give some reprieve, but also give us some protections for in those worst case scenarios as a city. And that's going to be a dramatically different approach than where we've been in the past.
Terrific, Jeremiah. Thanks very much for that. So if I'm hearing you right, it's not just supply, it's storage, it's conservation, and it's everybody kind of working on the same plan.
That's right.
Fantastic. So, listen, growth, and my last question here on this segment is that growth is just this huge issue, right? And, certainly I think that in Heath has done a very reasonable job of sort of managing that growth. But in communities outside of Heath, growth has gone, really through the roof with regards to significant number of new houses being built, et cetera. How has Heath sort of managed that? And as you talk to the other mayors, how are the other mayors sort of thinking about managing that growth here in Rockwall County?
Well, I think every neighboring city has its own identity. It has its own culture. It has its own growth plan. I know that Heath is, in fact, this last year we were at an all-time low in new building permits, and we want to stay similar to that path. We want to stay very consistent and staying in alignment with rural estates, staying in alignment with our comprehensive plans, and staying in alignment with our ordinances. But with that, you're exactly correct. Right outside of our city limits are some major growth areas, and they're going to create a continuation of compression on the resources with North Texas Municipal Water District. And again, that's why we're looking for some of these sustainable solutions. But also we have collaborated a lot with mayors on some of these ordinances and ways in which Heath kind of prides itself on what it's been able to accomplish.
Well, listen, I really applaud you on that. It's my understanding that you've not only met and worked with the other mayors of Rockwall County, but you've also met with our elected representatives at the state Senate level and at the state House representative level as well. And I think that, given the overall size of Rockwall County and given the fact that we're the smallest county in the whole state, we need to collaborate really effectively. So I give you just a ton of credit for that. And this water plan is really exciting. One of the things that we continue to hear is the number one issue on everyone's mind is how do we get more water and how do we keep ourselves out of severe restrictions? So thanks for doing that and keep it posted.
And I'll just jump in too, Mr. Dodson. Thank you so much, because it's really for every listener that's on here is to make sure to get involved, watch what's going on at the state level. This new legislative session, find out what bills are being pushed, because the more your voices are heard at the state level, it's just as important to be involved in the local level and the federal level. But that state level is really working towards trying to create some more affordable housing, trying to create the opportunity to where maybe they pull zoning away from cities. And really, this is the time in which we've all got to get some action in motion and make sure that they hear our voices, that we want to be locally controlled and locally governed in those issues, because that can become even harder for us in infrastructure needs if we don't have some of those control mechanisms.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. So I was honored to be able to attend the council meeting last night and having neighbors here in Heath who we all have questions about the water. You answered a lot of those questions, and I thank you for being here today. Thank you for answering all that. But I will encourage our listeners, if you have questions about it, attend the meetings. Um, Councilman Dodson, who's here, and our mayor are very approachable and willing to talk you through anything that you have. So we're going to go to break. We're going to take another commercial, and we're going to come back and talk about our topic. So stay here, and thanks for being here and listening through our segment.
See you in a minute.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible.
Total Care Emergency Room now has 9 locations in the DFW Metroplex. With no appointment needed, our incredible staff will get you checked in with no wait times. Our 5-star facility is open and fully staffed 24/7. We offer extensive treatment options for patients of all ages, providing on-site labs and imaging equipment, including CT, X-ray, and ultrasound, allowing us to provide fast, convenient care for our community. Total Care ER is your neighborhood emergency room. TotalCare.us.
Unwanted pests in your home can be stressful. From creepy crawlies to critters under the floorboards, they disrupt your peace of mind. But don't worry. All Pest Solutions is here to help. We offer a comprehensive range of safe and effective pest control solutions. We target all types of pests, big or small, including insects, rodents, and wildlife. All Pest Solutions, your local experts for a pest-free home. Breathe easy and enjoy your life again. Call today for a free quote. 972-442-1169 or email us at customerservice@allpestsolutions.com.
To belong is one of our most basic human needs. Best Buddies International is the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the social isolation of 200 million individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. We focus on meaningful one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. You have the power to make an impact, create change, and champion our mission of inclusion today.
We are Cloud Staff, enabling remarkable growth for businesses everywhere with our pioneering enterprise-grade remote work solutions. We are on a mission to help business owners scale while reducing costs by matching you with an amazing staff, mobilizing your team, and helping manage business performance, making us the #1 workplace as remote work gets done. Connect with us to access the world's top talent and discover how we can enable remarkable growth for your business.
And now, back to the show.
Well, welcome back to our podcast. This is our segment on our topic. We love sharing information on how to build businesses, and I'm thrilled to really have you join us for this powerful conversation on behavioral branding. Say that 10 times fast. Behavioral branding, building brands through actions and culture. And in today's market, really a brand is so much more than just a logo or a tagline, you know? It really is the experience, the interactions, and the values that consistently shape perceptions in the minds of customers, employees, and communities. So in this episode, we are really going to dive into how brands can cultivate a meaningful, authentic reputation by aligning their actions with core values. So my first question to you might be really whether you're a business owner, a marketer, or someone passionate about the impact of brand identity. I think it's important who we are. I always tell people when people show you who they are, believe them. Anybody ever heard that? Yeah. So when people show you who they are, believe them. So I'm going to ask all of our guests and our co-hosts now. Scott, I'll start with you. What is behavioral branding to you? Like, I think it's important we understand what that is before we can learn anything from it.
Yeah, you bet, Tammy. Thanks. Listen, from my perspective, behavioral branding in my businesses have been so much about sort of who you are as an individual and what core values you represent. And that typically, when you lead or run or are a big part of an organization, cascades down over the different functions and the senior leaders that you have kind of on those teams. So, if in fact you are very community oriented, and or you are a godly person, and or you are very much a family oriented person, and or sort of a collection of all of those items, that really kind of shines through, and it shines through, and it's so genuine with people who demonstrate those values and how they work with other people. And I think it's also important to have those values sort of work over the organizations that they're a part of. So again, I really think that it's about who you are as a person, and then how that brand is then imprinted on your business.
Yeah, perfect. Mayor, what is behavioral branding to you?
No, great question. So we own a investment firm that has a handful of companies that we own, and I've been in a number of different industries. And one thing that we look at when we're getting into an organization or we're starting an organization from scratch is really who are we? Who do we want to be? I think to Mr. Dodson's point, it's a little bit of ourselves inside of it. But inside of behavioral marketing, the way that we look at that is we've got to understand the needs, the wants, the motivations, and then really look at trends that really support that. And then as far as our investment models, we look for ways in which we can be disruptive and having micro unique selling propositions that are different than our competitors in multitude of ways.
Right. Let me ask you, Mayor, how important is behavioral branding in establishing and nurturing the know, like, and trust factor?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Relationships is ultimately what I think everybody on this panel and anybody listening, relationships is what's driving the growth and success of an organization. And so that behavioral piece is first off, you gotta have the relationship to then understand the relationship, to cultivate the relationship, but also to analyze it and look for those personas that you want to continue to try to reach as you've seen it in the past through empirical data.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that. Kim, what is behavioral branding to you?
In my personal opinion, at least in my industry, it represents the brand's actions and interactions with the customers. So in my particular industry, it's your core values, I hate to say it, your appearance. I can't walk up in flip-flops and a tank top and expect someone to take me seriously whenever they're making one of the largest investments of their lifetime, possibly. And ironically, your tone of voice, your dedication to your customer service is crucial, and mean what you say and say what you mean. And punctuality, there are so many different levels in my particular industry that prove your branding in your behaviors.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so good. Thank you, Kim. What does behavioral branding mean to you?
Yeah, just for me, it's all about just that relationship with your client, with your clients, even with your friends, just everyone that you end up crossing paths with. Just really shining, just shining who you really are, just being transparent, and just showing people that you are there for them. That it's not just all about you, but you really have their interests are your best interests. So really being there for other people, and just walking the walk, not just talking it.
That's awesome. I hear a lot about you, and I hear that you are always punctual. And when you say you're going to be somewhere, you always are. And another thing I heard about you was when you say a job is going to take X amount of time, that's what the time it takes. And so, having been through a really bad construction situation over the last few years, I love that about you already. So that's amazing. But let's talk about proactive problem solving. Okay. So some things that are really important to me is really, can you share, I don't care who answers, but can you share an example of proactive problem solving that really help avoid a crisis? Because I think behavioral branding is so important to being who you are. So how do you show up at places? Are you ready for a crisis? What does that look like for you? So maybe that's a Scott question to start off.
Sure. Thanks, Tammy. I mean, from my perspective, I think whenever you lead a company, you have to be able to see around corners. You have to be able to do that contingency planning and think out sort of to what it is that you're trying to achieve and or what you're trying to become. and think about the pitfalls that could occur along the way and have those contingency plans, ready to go. Because I think that, we've all been in situations where we have had to come in and be reactive to what's happened to us. And if we haven't thought through of the things that can happen, it makes for very long days and very long nights. So those of us that have, been in and around and have led multiple businesses, you end up sort of thinking sometimes to some on the, what could happen from a negative perspective, but you're trying to keep those things from really crippling your organization. And the more that you can have those things thought through, the more effective you can be at overcoming them and or even better preventing them from happening in the first place.
Well, and being a value add, what does that look like for you?
Absolutely. So, from a value add standpoint, I just think it's the experience that you bring to the equation, right? In the been there, done that category, those that have overcome adversity know what adversity looks like. And, trying to keep your current organization from encountering those same things can sometimes make the difference, I think, between, success and failure. So, Jeremiah, I'm wondering from your perspective, you have been a serial entrepreneur, many, many businesses, and obviously now, leading a city as the mayor of Heath. How do you sort of overcome those challenges? And, how do you look and see around corners to keep both the city and your businesses from encountering those issues?
Yes, thanks, Scott. So I would say standard operating procedures, right? So the best way to start to toggle being able to identify things proactively is to identify what it is you want to accomplish, how do you want to accomplish it, and then ensuring that it makes sense on paper. And then working it backwards because it's a working document. And so using that real life scenario, we see it in the city. For example, for the city, it's very complicated when residents don't feel like they're getting great customer service. So the city then said, hey, let's look at what are we doing whenever a phone call comes in? How does it get routed? What are we doing as far as can they manage themselves through a citizen portal? And then proactively creating a software system in which manages that to where citizens can interact with that. And then doing the same thing within the private sector is really looking at our standard operating procedures on how we impress and improve, and then modifying it as we go and as we learn through data.
That's awesome. I think about a lot of times behavioral branding is really who we are. Who we are at home is really who we are out in the world, whether you think that it is or not. How do you show up? How are you dressed? A first impression is always the most important, but who are you? So it takes me to the question of really to a lifelong relationship with other people. How are we building those relationships with people that we want to do business with or that we want to know in the community? I know when somebody wants to buy a house, I'm going to refer them to Kim. I know she's going to be fun. I know she's going to listen. I know that she's going to help them. She's going to listen to what they want. So what is your value add to that relationship? And how are you showing up and maintaining those relationships? Kim, you want to talk on that just a little bit?
Sure. In my particular situation, the way that I add value to that is I put myself into their shoes. I've walked through all stages of life. Anything you can think of, I've probably gone through. And so I try to put myself in that person's shoes. I also try to pretend as if that person was my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, and I try to love them and don't think about the paycheck. I think about the person. And I think whenever you put the person first, or the client or the customer or whatever it is, if you put them first, the money will follow. So, and then the relationships will build. So everything, if you do something for other people and you give your heart and you give your soul and you give your time to other people, and you're not really selling yourself or saying, hey, come buy a home from me or come buy a commercial property from me, when you're putting yourself in their shoes and you are giving yourself and your time to their purpose or their platform, then the business and the relationship follows. That's
well, and I think a couple stories you've been telling me this week about some of the properties that you're working with, just being a problem solver ahead of time because you know the people and you know what you're dealing with. That's important.
I prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And
I just wanted to say, like, I see that in Kim all the time. I have a really good friend over in South Lake, Jason Weber. I used to work with him in the roofing company. And I remember the one thing he said 7 years ago when my wife lived here. We came here 1 year to go to Bible school when we just got married. But I was working with him, and he had this very strong saying that I will outserve anyone out there. He is just fully dedicated to just knowing that he will perform and just be the best for somebody, better than anyone else, and that confidence that came with that. And I really instilled that even within my business. But when I met Kim, I was like, that's her right there. She is walking that exact statement. And that's why my parents flew in here. They're in town right now. And even though I know a lot of realtors here in this area, but I'm just automatically, Kim is going to outperform anyone. So
that's awesome.
I don't want to put Kim on a pedestal here, but I have to make that comment.
I truly,
she's a co-host. You better put her on her pedestal.
I didn't wear my crown today, guys. So I just was going to let you know that I truly, truly believe that if you put your heart and your soul into the person, and if you give it everything you've got, and you can walk away and say, I literally gave every iota in my last breath to that person, it will show. And you don't even have to say anything, because the people will feel it and they will tell someone. And that's just how I walk around, even in my relationships and in business. And people will either love it or they won't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that, talking up front and understanding kind of what the expectations are, and working so hard to not only exceed those expectations, but also just wow them. If you can concentrate on the wow, then everything else, Kim, like you said, really takes care of itself.
I try to fly on that unicorn every single day and just throw that glitter,
Throw the glitter. That's what makes you so special. That's awesome. So, okay, we have like 2 minutes to wrap this segment up, but I do have a question, and I think, I don't care who answers, but can you share an example, maybe hear from a couple people, like 30 seconds. Can you share an example of a proactive problem solving that helped avoid a crisis, a particular situation?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So we one of the companies in which we own is Splashpad Pool Builder, and when we were early off, we were looking for opportunities to where our site superintendents and our operations coordinator and our command center could actually see in real time what things are going on in the field. And so we instituted technology in which we actually have cameras out, and it was game changer for us. So that way we would have kind of eyes in the sky for all of our projects. And we've been able to walk around issues that could occur, in thinking in terms of when you're filling up a pool. Now, hey, if I get out there at this specific time, I can see it on the camera. I see how much further it's got to go. I can also see if there's a placement of something that needs to be redirected. I can see it in real time, and then I can get somebody out there immediately. So that's one way that we've done that, to try to create a process to where our great people can implement themselves and all of these aspects, but be there in a process and a technology that helps circumvent a problem.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Scott, do you have something you want to share on that?
You bet. I mean, one of the things that my company does is we manufacture devices for severe bleeding control for our military and for our first responders really around the world. And after Russia's invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago, obviously their borders were closed. It was very difficult to get products sort of into that conflict zone to help those that were really far forward in that fight. So, given our experience in working through logistics and supply chain to kind of get devices to countries that could then be delivered into Ukraine, when the Israeli conflict happened on 7 October last year, it gave us a head start with regards to the things that we had to do in order to jump through those hoops and get products on the ground that could help people that were very far forward in those conflict zones as well. So, experience and kind of going through a crisis one time and figuring it out, sort of putting one foot in front of the other, helps you expedite that, I think, the next time that you go through it.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Scott. Behavioral branding. We love this topic, and we'll continue it in the next couple of shows. We still have another show this month.
There's so much to talk about. I hope so. There's so much to talk about.
Oh, there is. But we're going to take a break right now. We're going to go to commercial. We'll come back, and we'll hear more from our guests.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, live stream, and podcast network possible. At Fireboss Realty, we believe life is about relationships, and everything else is just details. Whether you're buying or selling, Scott and Amy Johnson are here to understand your family's unique needs and deliver expert guidance on the North Texas real estate market. With a reputation for integrity and personalized service, Fireboss Realty makes your home journey stress-free and successful. Ready to make your move? Visit firebossrealty.com and let's ignite your real estate dreams.
Everyone deserves access to affordable health insurance, but with traditional insurance, costs can be high and getting coverage can be complicated. JP Direct Health is a simpler, more affordable way to get the health coverage you need. With plans for individuals, families, and small businesses, you can save money on monthly premiums without the need for physicals. At jpdirecthealth.com, we specialize in customizing coverage to fit almost every budget with affordable PPO plans and many other benefits. With over 100 5-star Google reviews, JP Direct Health is a trusted resource making health insurance affordable and accessible for everyone year-round. Affordable health insurance solutions are a proactive protection, not a reactive solution. Visit jpdirecthealth.com today and see how much you can save.
I'm always here to help. Thank you.
Are you or someone you know pregnant or planning to conceive? Caitlin Smith is both a certified childbirth doula and instructor offering childbirth classes to couples wanting an unmedicated, physiological birth outside of the hospital setting. Caitlin has served the local community since 2021 and specializes in working closely with midwives, all while best supporting a mother's physical body, her partner, and the birth environment. You can contact Caitlin through Instagram at thismamadoula or email her at caitlinsmithdoula@gmail.com to learn more about childbirth classes or her doula services.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111.
Now back to...
Well, welcome back to our next section, which is our deep dive segment. We love this segment for a lot of reasons. This is really where we get to know our guests. So, Scott, we're going to start with you. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
So, a couple of the pieces that sort of drew me to Rockwall County and Heath, I guess, when we were relocating back to the great state of Texas, was, really being able to be involved kind of in a great Bible-based church, which we've been so lucky to find at Lake Point, and also get involved in the community. And I think Rockwall County specifically offers just so many incredible opportunities, regardless of your level of interest, to be involved, whether it's politically or philanthropically or, just through your business activities, through a chamber of commerce, et cetera. And in the be careful what you ask for category, there are so many things that you can be involved with that end up taking a tremendous amount of time. But, Tammy, you said something earlier that, when you are dedicated and you have a servant's heart, you end up finding the time to do these extra things, and you're more enriched because of it. And, that's one thing that I really feel blessed for in, relocating back here to Texas and finding Rockwall County.
Awesome. So maybe this is a good time for us to do a quick shout out. There are a lot of great, wonderful churches in the Rockwall community, but can we just say Josh Howerton? Did I just say that out loud? He is clearly a God-sent man for sure. So he's a Bible preacher.
And Jeremiah, you might know somebody at Lake Point, right?
I do. I have the pleasure of my wife being on staff at Lake Point. So she is the Rockwall campus coordinator and oversees operations there every Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah.
Awesome. I think we all have a connection of Rockwall or to Lake Point at some level. Maybe that's a show for another day. Let's get to our questions. Kim, what's your question for your guest? We want to hear your question.
Dennis, thank you so much for being on here and be baptized with me right here on the show for our very first show. I appreciate it. Dennis, I know that you transplanted to the Rockwall area. Could you please tell me what made you choose Rockwall and maybe tell the viewers where you came from?
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't believe you guys just brought up Lake Point. That's one of the biggest reasons as to why we chose Rockwall, as funny as that sounds. My wife's parents, they moved from Seattle, Washington, to like 40 minutes east of Rockwall. And my wife and I have come here many times every single year, and Lake Point has been our church go-to every time we were here. And I've actually been watching their sermons like every single Sunday for the last 3 years. So when we had the opportunity to finally move to Texas, we were like, we want to be close to Lake Point, and that's how we really landed on Rockwall. But yeah, just a little background. Ran a massive paint company with one of my best friends over in Seattle, Washington for many years. We had a ton of success, and then we had a little family tragedy a year ago, and that was when we really felt God put on our heart to that it's time to let go of this business and that He's going to bless our way in Rockwall. So yeah, came over here a little over a year ago, launched Roll City Painting all on my own, and just applied a lot of the principles and just values from the other business. And it's just been incredible seeing like what happens like in this community, the surrounding cities. So it's just been a big blessing, and we're growing like crazy. I'm building up my sales team, project managers, and yeah, we're really excited.
And
that's awesome.
I'd like to add to that right quick. I was so impressed by Dennis whenever I very first met him. And through our relationship and working relationship, I have added him to my dream team, and he is always my number one go-to. I can't say enough about him. And I didn't even know Lake Point was going to end up being such a hot topic in our conversation today. I had no idea.
What a massive blessing I think it is, for everybody here and for so many others. Jeremiah, I'm wondering, given the fact that you're a serial entrepreneur and you've founded and launched so many companies, sort of what drew you to take on that incredible responsibility, and how did that all happen, and what drew you to serving in your current capacity as mayor?
Well, thanks, Scott. I'll say that I have a passion for building things, and I have a passion for teaching. And so I just kind of enjoy the aspects of looking for unique opportunities and trying to find industries that could tweak and have disruption, and things could be dynamically different. And so that's kind of our entrepreneurial drive. And I've been in a number of different industries, and the challenges of going into different industries is a big challenge. And it's a lot of fun, though, if you like getting into the analytics and then building standards and processes, but then applying some of the best talent into those key roles. So I enjoy that. And then as we transition into my servant's heart, I come from a line of really, my grandfather was a pastor, my stepfather was a pastor, my father was a music minister, and so I was kind of trained pretty early on. I mean, I ran the sound of our church when I was 10 years old. So if you can only imagine, it's just what you did. And so in my adult life, we look for opportunities and constantly look for ways in which we can show our children best ways to add value in our own lives by giving and serving to others, because it's really helps us become more whole and more wholesome and enjoy our life. And to do God's work is the driver behind that. And then getting into city politics, I'll tell you, if you were to have told me 5 years ago, hey, Jeremiah, you're going to run for mayor, I probably would have laughed and said, are you kidding? But I've always been very in tune with what's going on in the city and making sure that I'm very in tune with what's going on at the state level and then at the federal level. And I just felt this burning desire to say, hey, we've got some opportunities in the city of Heath, and as a long-term resident and somewhere I plan to be at into retirement, I wanted to get involved and make some change and effectuate some of those changes, and then bridge the gap of those relationships that I've been able to build and try to turn the corner a little bit in a new way, and take the baton of those that came before me, but think through some of the unique opportunities that we have as a city and strategically direct that into a greater place.
Quick follow-on question, Jeremiah. Given the fact that you've done so many things, sort of what would be your guidance to people who want to get involved locally?
Yeah, just don't overthink it. That's really the best thing that I can say. Give it to God, put it in prayer. Don't do anything without that. Look for peace in your heart. Look for peace in your home and clarity, that there's a support mechanism to do it and that you have the bandwidth to do it. But don't overthink it. Just find the opportunities. If you look long enough, it won't take very long, maybe 10 minutes, and you will find a need in this great county on ways that you can probably impact this county in such a dramatic way. And it's just because you decided today, I'm going to do something and I'm going to do something different. So I just simply say, don't overthink it. Just get involved and find something you can be passionate about.
Great guidance.
That's awesome. Okay, I have a quick question for Dennis. We have just a couple of minutes, but I do have one more question. I think he answered the question of what does he love about our Rockwall community by saying he chose to move here because of Lake Point. So we'll start with that one. But my question really is, what do you love most? I know you love Lake Point, but besides Lake Point, what do you love most about our Rockwall community?
I love how tight knit it is, and I can't recall who I heard this from, but when I planted Roll City from the heart of Rockwall, somebody told me, "You're crazy, good luck." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "In Rockwall, it's like people. The only way you can get business in Rockwall is if people know you. Like everyone just shares, and like it's like a very tight knit." And for me, I was like, I love that. Like for other people, they'd be like, they'd be kind of scared of that. But for me, I was like, this is actually a blessing, because I'm all about kind of like what Jeremiah was just sharing, like the servant's heart. I'm like, I know that the way I treat my customers, the way I treat my employees, I know that it's going to have the impact that that's very referral based. Even like people just know who we are based on the kind of service we provide them. So that is one thing that I've absolutely loved about Rockwall is just actually getting to build relationships versus your customer base. It's all about relationships here, and people just love each other. And I've never seen that in any other city or county.
Awesome. Well, we're getting ready to go to commercial, but I do want to answer that question myself is, why do I love our community so much? And it's because of the people that are right here on this show, our two guests, our two co-hosts, and just the quality of people that we have right here in our Rockwall community. So let's go to commercial. We're going to come back for our What's the Difference segment, and we're going to have a great time. So stay tuned.
At the Community Difference Business Development Alliance, powered by the Difference Media, LLC, our mission is to empower small business owners by transcending acceptable behaviors and outcomes into exceptional realms. We foster a culture of self-awareness, accountability, and proactive engagement, guiding individuals to recognize and overcome indifference towards transformative actions, habits, behaviors, and processes driving meaningful change. Through strategic networking, impactful content creation, and innovative top-of-mind strategies, we cultivate brand relevance and differentiation, enabling our partners and the Difference community to stand out in crowded markets. With a focus on building authentic connections, amplifying brand presence, and driving sustainable growth, we equip entrepreneurs with the tools and mindset to navigate the complexities of entrepreneurship with confidence, innovation, and resilience. Together, we aim to be the catalyst for difference makers, propelling them towards their highest potential and leaving a lasting impact on their businesses and communities. That's where our community podcasts come in. These podcasts lie directly at the intersection of innovative business development and community involvement, helping to bridge the gap between small business obscurity often seen in our communities. The community-based podcasts called the Community Difference Series are an integral part of integrating all facets of modern business development into a package of great content, positive impact branding, and top-of-mind presence, thus fulfilling the greater mission we set forth. When we set out to be difference makers, we can learn to make a difference and find the success and impact innately desired by all business owners and entrepreneurs. We are difference makers.
And now it's time for What's the Difference?
What's the difference? I'm going to ask each of you a question. This is one of my favorite segments because I am truly going to put you on the spot. So be ready. Okay. So the first question, and just know that we have the real answer that I'm going to read to you when we're done. But here's what I want to hear from you, your opinion first. So what is the difference between strategic networking and traditional networking? Let's start with Scott.
Sure. So from my perspective, the difference between strategic and traditional, strategic has to do with sort of executing against your plan with the end in mind and working out, the different customer bases that you have to get to and doing things with strategic intent. Traditional networking, really has to do with just working in your local community and the folks in your friend groups and your other ecosystems that you happen to work with on your daily course of business and in your personal lives. So one is with strategic intent, and one is really through just sort of traditional everyday networks and people that you interact with.
Awesome. Mayor.
I was going to say the same thing. Way to go, Scott. You took it all away.
You stole your answer.
Yeah. The old way of networking was, who do you know? And you're going to think about common places, right? Who do I know at church? Who do I know going to my annual trade association and these conferences, and then maybe pulling a Wilson and talking to people over the fence. So to me, strategic networking is really isolating and using technology to figure out who those ideal customers are, and figuring out where they are, where they live. And I don't mean physically where they live, but where are they at? Where do they play online? Where do they eat? Where do they eat at? Where do they commune at? And then figuring out strategic ways in which you can get to them and with them, whether it be through using social media connections or email strategies, or even cold calling. But that's more strategic, is isolating that specific individual and or specific organizations in which you've got to connect with, and then being in the right place at their time of need or time of want.
Awesome. Dennis.
I mean, how can I answer that any better? Scott and Jeremiah just hit it right on the head.
You feel like you want to copy their answer, right?
I know. I'm like, man, how do I change that?
Well, don't worry, Dennis. She did say she's got the right answer after all of this, so we'll probably all be contradicted. So it's fine.
The official answer, not the right answer.
The
official answer. There you go.
I love that. No, but for me, just like they were saying, strategic is just really, it's more planned out, more just being focused on who's where, just like they said. And traditional just I personally love traditional for some reason. I just feel like through traditional, I might be totally wrong here, but just making random connections can bring the biggest fruits that were not in your own power. So that Yeah.
It sounds like, Dennis, that your business really thrives with that form of connection as well. So I don't think either one is necessarily good or bad. It's just whatever works.
Right. Exactly.
Business, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Kim.
Well, of course, I'm last. So, my opinion, and it might parallel you guys, I focus on shallow and deep. So, you can be talking to someone or in a group or whatever, and you can be shallow and you can have a million things behind your head, or you can really be deep with that person and really listen to them. I always use this phrase with my children. I'm going to use it right now. The Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, because He wants you to listen more and talk less. And I struggle with that. That's why you had me on here. So if you are intentional when you're listening or you're engaging with another human, whether you want their business or if you are just going to be there, or you can be shallow about it and just say, hey, hi, how are you doing? And not really care what the response is going to be. So I think it's, in my opinion, on the difference between strategic networking and traditional networking is shallow and deep. Show up to those baby showers. If you get invited to a wedding, show up, be there. And if you can't be, make it known. It's just being intentional. That's my opinion. Not parallel you guys, and I said it in a different way.
Okay,
I think Kim hit a home run.
I was just fixing to say, so what she said was being intentional. So I'm going to read you the official answer because all of you are.
Oh my gosh, should I win?
Yeah. Oh, no, nobody won. Everybody had a good answer. But here's the official answer. The official answer is strategic networking focuses on building intentional, long-term relationships that offer value. It's about identifying key people who can help you grow your brand and contribute to theirs. Compared to traditional networking, which often focuses on making as many connections as possible without much depth, deep and shallow. Strategic networking emphasizes quality over quantity, seeking relationships built on trust, shared goals, and genuine engagement. And I feel like every one of you answered that just the same. Don't you think? We all won. Yeah.
Just in a different way.
I think that's Tammy's way to let us down. Easy, Kim, home run, high five.
Woo!
Put the crown on.
Okay, one more question. You ready?
Yep.
Listen close. What's the difference between exemplary follow through and basic follow up?
Oh,
all right.
I think Kim has to start.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim, you have to start.
The winner has to go first. I think it has to be modeled and inspire. So if you are going to do exemplary follow-up, you need to model that and inspire it. So whenever you follow up, make those handwritten letters, go stop by the office, show up to their ribbon cutting. There's so many things that you can do to make it an exemplary follow-up, and to let those people know that you're there for them. Your business will come. Everything will all come together in the end if you make it, again, intentional and you model it, and you don't just do it a la carte, and you don't do it whenever you think you're going to get something in return.
Awesome. See? That's good. We'll go Dennis next. Mayor, I'm going to let you go last this time.
Yeah, no. So for me, just it's all about just keeping your word. Just for like a real example of, sometimes we'll be with a client and we're like, hey, in the next, like we're gonna have an answer for you here in the next hour, and just staying true to what you just promised and get back to them. Don't forget about them. And just really showing them that you care, showing them that you are truly there for them and that they can trust you. And I believe that runs any success I've ever had is just because of that. Versus just basic follow-up. I try to get a lot of our employees out of this mindset of just like, oh, let's just kind of keep it very simple, keep it just like really like quick answers. There's no personal, there's nothing about you behind things that are more basic like that. So that's kind of the difference for me, is just going all in. Like I'm giving you 110% of me, not 90%. That's not enough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Listen, Dennis, I totally agree with that. I think whenever you can make it personal, you can make it permanent. And, every time that you can add that sort of personal connectivity, you end up doing what I call the uncommon. And when you can sort of perform and exceed expectations in an uncommon way in today's environment where, to your point, everything is just done with a word or a quick flip email or a text message or a DM or something like that, you can be indelible. So I think that focusing on the uncommon and concentrating on the wow and really making yourself really highly differentiated versus the traditional forms of follow-up that everyone else are doing can really make the biggest difference in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well said, Scott. And for those of you that don't know, and the listeners, Scott is the king of one-liners. So just always have a pen. So I wrote that down. Personal makes it permanent. So that was a great point. And I agree. I think in Salesforce, a lot of times, right, the follow-up is hey, I'm checking a box, or hey, I've got to get to an end result. And the reason that a business is doing the follow-up is, that is the end goal, but you've got to make it about them. What was the root reason? What was the root cause? What is the root need or the root want? And then you've got to apply what Kim was talking about earlier, is that going deep and then coming back to it, and making sure that you can really connect with them in a personal way. So kudos to everybody. I'm glad I was last, though.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys for being here. Do we have time for one more question? What time is it? We probably don't. Let's do this. So we're going to have to end. I'm going to finish with the official answer. Are you ready? Here's the official answer. Exemplary follow-through is about consistently delivering on commitments without needing reminders and exceeding expectations. Basic follow-up might involve a standard email or check-in, while exemplary follow-through focuses on ensuring that every promise is fulfilled, leaving a lasting positive impression and building trust. So again, Mayor, you're going to laugh at me, but I'm going to say everybody got the answer right. Again.
Love it.
You all get 5 stars. Great job.
Everybody gets 5 stars. Okay. I will say thank you for this show. It's been a great time. We do want to close out real quick. I want to hear from each of you. What is your number one takeaway, and why you were excited to be here? And I will say that I am. Oh, Lyndon says everybody gets a participation trophy. That's awesome.
Was it good or bad?
Participation trophy. That's awesome. Okay, so tell us real quick. Tell us real quick just your name, and if anybody wanted to reach out to you, how can they do that? Maybe a takeaway. Each of you have 30 seconds. So let's start with Dennis.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best thing, I can just list out my number on here. Everyone's just gonna forget, but just find us on Instagram. Social media is powerful. Instagram, Facebook. You'll see our work, and at the same time, you can always just message through there. Just an easy way to connect really fast. So just search Roll City Painting. You'll find us real quick.
Your information was scrolling under your name too. So thank you, Dennis. I can't wait to get to know you better. All right, Mayor.
Yes. So you can easily catch me at, I have 6 different emails. So I'll just give you my own, jeremiahmcclure@gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up, ask me any questions you want. For those Heath residents, thank you guys for listening. We're working hard, and I was very happy to be on this program and talk with everybody about Heath and all the things that are coming. And then, for our businesses, it's always great to have a secondary opportunity to promote them. Splashpad Pool Builder being one of them, and Iron Throne Site Services for all of your porta potty needs. So glad to be on here, because every relationship that I've built, I find so much value and mentorship in so many different ways from everybody that I get to meet. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. It means a lot to me that you were here. So thank you. It also means a lot to me that I know that you are handling our city.
Always.
And I don't say that lightly.
Well, thank you.
Same for you, Scott Dodson, City Councilman.
You
go
are
next.
Listen, no problem. So my biggest takeaway, Tammy, is really a point that Jeremiah made, and it's just look, if you want to get involved, don't overthink it. There's just so much good out there that can be done, and it's deserving of giving of your time, talents, and treasure. That you should just seek something out, pray on it, and get involved. And to reach me, you can reach me at Scott@compressionworks.com. That's Scott@compressionworks.com. And like Jeremiah, you can also reach me through the city of Heath, but be free to and open to connecting with anyone on any business related issue or any issue related to the city of Heath. Happy to help any way that I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, in fact, let me make a note. If anybody has any questions about the city, if you could go to Scott first, that'd be great. He really loves answering your questions. So City of Heath, make sure you hit him up.
That's awesome.
Except for June and July when our water usage is the highest. And then I'll give you Jeremiah's home number.
All right. You guys are awesome. We're running out of time. Kim, you get 10 seconds. Do your closing real quick and we're out.
My closing is if you need anything, buy, sell, or rent or lease, just give me a call. Kim Sells Texas, just Google it and you'll find me anywhere. Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, anything. And thank you for having me. It's been an honor and it's been so much fun. You guys are great.
Oh, and we're going to have so much fun over the next months. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. We are ending our show today, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we continue our topic with another set of group co-hosts, and we'll continue our topic and we'll move into December, and you'll see them in the second week. Kim and Scott always in the second week of the month. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for watching today's show.
The Community Difference Rockwall is made possible by Tammy Escobedo, a beauty industry leader. Josh and Kristen Small with WeatherTech General Contractors. Frank McLeod with Minuteman Press of Rockwall. Brian Decker with Compass Facilities Consulting. Clarence Jorev with the Compound Nevada. Kim Johnson with Kim Johnson Group. And by Scott Dodson with Compression Works. The Community Difference Rockwall. Together, we can make the difference.